Let's be honest, selling your home can feel like trying to solve a massive puzzle, right? Except you don't have the picture on the box to guide you. Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to give you that picture, a complete roadmap that pieces together the entire seller's journey, from that very first thought all the way to the final signature. If you think selling a home is just about sticking a for sale sign in the yard and waiting for the phone to ring, well, it's a bit more complicated than that. It's really a strategic game where the moves you make before you even list can totally change the outcome, the timeline, and definitely your stress levels. So this is it. This is your roadmap. We're going to break down the entire journey step by step to give you the clarity and the confidence you absolutely need when you're making one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. All right, let's dive right in at the very beginning. Section 1, before you list. Seriously, the work you do here, in this stage, sets the tone for the entire sale. If you get this part right, trust me, everything else gets so much easier. And here it is, the million-dollar question, sometimes literally. Pricing is probably the single most critical decision you're going to make. You price it right, buyers are going to flock to your door. But if you price it wrong, you're just going to hear crickets. So how do you find that perfect sweet spot? Well, this slide really gets to the heart of it. You've got that online estimate, right? It's basically a robot using public data. That algorithm has no idea you just spent a fortune renovating your kitchen or that your specific street is the one everyone wants to live on. A professional analysis, on the other hand, is a human deep dive into all those little details, the hyper-local stuff an algorithm will always, always miss. But, pricing is just one piece of this pre-listing puzzle. As you can see, there's a whole checklist. You've got to have a targeted marketing plan, you need solid advice on what repairs to make or how to stage the place, and you have to tackle any state-specific requirements, like septic inspections in some areas. Getting this done early prevents huge surprises down the road. And all of that leads to this critical number, your net proceeds. Now, this isn't your sale price. This is the actual cash you'll walk away with after everything's paid off. The mortgage, fees, taxes, the whole shebang. Knowing this number from day one is absolutely crucial for planning your next move. Okay, so you've done all that prep work, and now it pays off. Your home is on the market, buyers are interested, and boom, the offers start rolling in. This is the exciting part. But, and this is a big but, the biggest offer isn't always the best offer. So how in the world do you choose? In this quote right here, it says it all. It's so easy to get blinded by the highest number, but the real strength of an offer, it's hidden in the details, the financing, the timeline, and whether that buyer can actually get to the finish line. At the end of the day, your goal here is all about managing risk. You're carefully vetting each offer to find the one that has the clearest, most reliable path to closing, so you don't find yourself right back at square one a month from now. So you've accepted an offer, congratulations. That's a huge milestone. But don't pop the champagne just yet. This kicks off the next critical phase, the path to closing. And it's filled with inspections, negotiations, and a whole lot of legal paperwork. Now, in most places, sellers have legal obligations to disclose certain things. So for example, in a state like Massachusetts, you have to tell buyers about known lead paint or if you have a private septic system. But the rule everywhere really is simple. If a buyer asks you a direct question about the property's condition, you have to answer honestly. The buyer's home inspection. This is always a big hurdle. Afterwards, they might come back with a list of things they want you to fix. The key here is to figure out what's reasonable. We're usually talking about safety issues or major systems, not cosmetic stuff, and then negotiate a solution that keeps the deal moving forward. And now we are in the final stretch. Section 4 is all about crossing the finish line. This is where the lawyers and the lenders get everything buttoned up so you can finally, officially hand over those keys. This part of the process follows a very clear path. It all starts when you sign the formal purchase and sale agreement. That's the legally binding contract. From there, the attorneys get involved, the buyer's lender works on finalizing their loan, and then right before the end, the buyer does one last walkthrough to make sure everything looks good. So the natural question is, how long does all this take? Generally, you can expect it to be about 30 to 45 days from the moment you sign that P&S agreement until you're actually sitting at the closing table. It just gives everyone enough time to get all their ducks in a row. But what happens if your moving timelines just don't line up perfectly? This is a super common situation. You've sold your home, but you need to stay there for a few more days after it's officially sold. If you don't plan for this ahead of time, it can become a massive headache. The proper way to handle this is with something called a use and occupancy agreement. It's a formal legal document prepared by attorneys that basically lets you rent your old home back from the new owner for a short, specific amount of time. The absolute key here is to bring this up as early as possible. And that quote really just brings it all home. No two sales are ever the same. Each one has its own little twists and turns. Success isn't about getting lucky. It's about making smart, strategic decisions at every single fork in the road, from setting that first price to signing that last document. So, there you have it. We've walked through the entire roadmap. You now have a clear view of the path from for sale to sold. The only question left is, what's the first step you're going to take on your journey?